Everyone, thanks for tuning into today's video. We're doing the second autumn 2014 update today. Going to have a look at all the seasonal models. We've got 10 of them, can you believe, today. 10 long-range seasonal models to get through. It could be a long video. We're going to get them together and see what they are showing for the autumn. Now, you're going to need a comfy chair, a cup of tea, and a few biscuits, I think. So I'll see you in a few moments if you want to press pause and go off and get those. Because as I say, this could be quite a long video. If you can't watch it all in one sitting, don't worry, because it's going to be hanging around the website as long as Gazworth is on the internet. So if you can't watch it all in one go, don't worry, you can come back and watch it whenever you want. You can get to it via the seasonal page, and it'll have its own page here at Gazworth. So yeah, you can't watch it all in one go, don't worry. Okay, just to say about the advertising. There's video ads on our pages at Gazworth.com. Hit play on the video ad. You'll be helping to support Gazworth.com. Thanks so much for doing that. The ads essentially pay for the website. They pay for me to sit here and talk to you via the website. So thanks for getting involved. Thanks for hitting play, seeing what the video ad is about. I couldn't have Gazworth without video ads, to be serious for a moment. So thanks for doing that for me and for the website. So we've got 10 seasonal models to get through. The links to most of these can be found on my links page. And just really to say, enjoy the video. I hope you find it interesting and informative. Now, the first model that we're going to be using for this update is the return. I've been talking about this a little bit on the Twitter and Facebook pages. Is the return of the South Korea model. We used to use the South Korea model a lot up until March when it disappeared. The link I had stopped working. And it's thanks to James Ackrill, but we've got it back. It's in a different format. It's not in the same format it was before, but it's back. And it's thanks to James Ackrill, who emailed me the link to the South Korean model a couple of days ago. James, I know you're watching this video. Thanks so much for emailing me the link to the South Korean model. And folks, I can assure you, you're going to be seeing a lot more of this model over the next few weeks and months, because what I'm showing you here is just going to be August to October, but there's a heck of a lot more information to be gleaned from this. And you will be seeing plenty of charts from the South Korean model over the next few weeks and months, and it's all thanks to James Ackrill that it's going to be happening. So let's get on with the update, and we're going to start off with the 500 bit of our height anomalies for August to October. Should just say that the first couple of models, 2 or 3 models, are just going to be covering that August to October period. So we start off with the 500 heights from South Korean model for August to October. We've got below average heights here to the east and the northeast, above average heights out to the west and the northwest. And that's not a bad looking scenery, I don't think. For the autumn, it wouldn't be too bad. Really a lot of dry weather, although perhaps more unsettled to the east, but overall not too bad scenery. Here's the temperature forecast, and we're coming out, yep, on the warmer side of average. There's the temperature scale just there. We're in those sort of cream and pale orange colours, so we're on the warmer side of average for August to October. The precipitation forecast, the rainfall forecast, shows that we're a little bit above average, but we're generally near normal until we get to the east, when we're a bit above average. So warmer than average autumn, and rainfall average to ever so slightly above average is the prediction from the South Korea model. I promise you, you will be seeing a lot more from South Korea over the next few weeks and months. Now, the Russian model next. This is probability. We're going to look at the temperature probability for August to October. And there's the British Isles just there, quite honestly, swamped by a sea of rare to above average temperatures is being predicted by the Russian model in terms of the probability forecast for the autumn, for August to October. A very strong signal for a warmer than average period, August to October. The rainfall prediction, the probability shows that we're above average to the east, below average up to the northwest. And for the British Isles, I hope to make this out, but Rimou's white coast are actually around average. But I think what's going on there, again, similar to the South Korean model, in that the rainfall is above average rainfall signal is stronger to the east of the country. That's probably because the seas around the UK, and particularly the North Sea, are very warm after all the warm weather that we've been having. Now we're going to have a look at the JMA next, and this is for October. I don't want to dwell on this too much because I showed you all of these charts last week in an update last week, but look specifically at the JMA. So I'm just going to very quickly show you this for October. Above average heights being predicted there. We're in the top right hand corner as you're looking at it for October. But the rainfall is coming out, strangely enough, despite the fact we've got above average heights with those yokers, the rainfall is coming out warmer, coming out wetter than average. The temperature prediction is warmer than average as well for October. So quite what's going on there with the JMA, the Japanese model. I'm not sure, because for October the height anomaly signal will indicate quite a dryish sort of October, whereas the rainfall signal is looking quite wet. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, what's happening there, but certainly for October it's a wetter and warmer than average signal. I'm not going to show you September, but the idea for September is drier than average, or rainfall average slightly drier than average, with temperatures coming out above average. So a warm September and October being predicted by Japanese model. I'll show you it next month when we'll go fully out through the whole of the autumn period, September to November. Now, every model that we look at from now on is going to cover the entire autumn period. We're going to start off with the Brazilian model, taking us from September through to November. These are 500 millibar height anomalies. The British Isles is just there, centred nice and squarely in the centre of the chart as you're looking at it up to the top. These are a little bit different, these height anomalies, so I have to explain this because the blue colours are indicating above average heights and the red colours are indicating below average heights. On a normal 500 millibar height anomaly chart, that would be the other way round. I think the Brazilians really tried to catch us out on this one. But anyway, you can see what's going on there. We've got a big area of above average height sitting around the country. Having a look at the temperature signal, and there we go. We're seeing a warmer than average signal for the temperatures. There's the scale just there, and it's between 1 and 2 degrees above average. So quite a warm autumn indeed coming up there, if the Brazilian model is right. The precipitation signal shows that we're near normal again around the coast. It's wetter, but I think again that's because the energy around the coast is more available, because the sea surface temperature anomalies are very warm because it's been warm for so long. But for inland, for the bulk of British Isles, actually rainfall is coming out near normal. So a very strong signal so far. All models are looking warmer than average. Precipitation is looking around normal. Have a look at some of the products from the United States next, and we're going to have a look at the 700 millibar height anomaly chart for the autumn. First of all, we've got an area of below average heights in the Atlantic, and we've got quite a strong jet stream here running across the Atlantic, something like that. So that is quite an unsettled looking signal, I think, for the autumn. The temperature signal is quite obviously above average, a warmer than average autumn being predicted there for most of northern, central and northwestern Europe. Not surprised because the jet stream is blasting through off the Atlantic, so it's quite a warmish autumn coming up. In terms of the precipitation signal, we're average to wetter than average in the west. Notice that most of northern and western Europe, if anything, is on the wetter side. Not all areas are very wet, but I think the idea of this signal there is for a wetter than average sort of signal for the northwest Europe. I would suspect quite a wet autumn if that 700 millibar height anomaly prediction is right, because remember the low pressure is in the Atlantic and the jet stream is blasting through the Atlantic into Europe, something like that. So it's a strong jet stream with a deep trough of low pressure in the Atlantic. I think almost certainly we will be looking at quite an autumn there. Hugh Vandendoel next. Now this is a little bit different. Hugh works for NOAA in the United States, but this isn't a seasonal model. What Hugh is doing here is analog based forecasting. So he takes the sea surface temperature anomalies across the globe at a specific point, in this case in June when these charts were created. So he looks at the sea surface temperature anomalies in June. From that he compares to past years with a similar sea surface temperature anomaly, and then he comes up with a prediction going forward, a forecast, and this is the 500 millibar height anomaly for September to November for the autumn. British Isles is just here over on the far right hand side of the map as you're looking at it, and we're in those salmon pink colours, so that's an area of above average heights there sitting around Western Europe for the autumn. Now the temperature signal in most salmon pink colours again, so the temperatures are looking warmer than average. It's a consistent signal across the board so far. The temperature's coming out warmer than average on every model so far. The precipitation signal is for an average to drier than average autumn. I think it would be a dry autumn with that 500 millibar height anomaly prediction with that ridge of high pressure around the country. So a little bit at odds there in terms of the setup between the model from NOAA and Hu van den Doo. The model is very much stronger with the trough of low pressure in the Atlantic and doesn't have as much as a ridge, but they're both going for a warm autumn. In any case, it's just the rainfall and the overall setup that they're differing about. NASA next, can you believe that the Space Agency has their own seasonal model? But they do. Here it is. This is a 500 millibar height anomaly prediction for September to November. British Isles again is just here on the far right hand side of the map as you're looking at it. Above average heights setting up to the north and the northeast of the country, extending from Iceland and going through to Scandinavia over here. Now we've got this big white area sitting underneath that, but I would suspect that rather than being an area of average heights, what we'd probably be looking at here is a trough of low pressure in the flow. So I think that could be quite an unsettled looking signal actually, particularly for the south of the country. Maybe not too bad for the north and northeast, but for the south I think that would be a more unsettled looking signal. The temperature forecast shows that we've got those yellow colours around the country, so really it is average to above average temperatures again. Very, very consistent signal here. No sign of a cool autumn at all from any model that we've looked at so far. The precipitation forecast is for average precipitation there. No sign of anything particularly wet, but I think it probably would be wetter down to the south if anything. Yeah, it's average precipitation, warmer than average. Temperatures, that's the case with pretty much all models. We've looked at Beijing Climate Centre next. We're looking at the 500 millibar height anomaly chart there, and it's similar to CFS actually. We've got this trough of low pressure out to west, and the jet stream is running around that trough, something like that. So that is an unsettled signal, if ever there was one, for the autumn. It's similar to the CFS V2. The temperature forecast, there we are over here, is warmer than average temperatures for the autumn. Very consistent signal. The precipitation, the rainfall forecast is for a wetter than average autumn, and it's not surprising with that trough of low pressure in the Atlantic. So CFS V2 and the Beijing Climate Centre I think are very similar in their setups, with a trough in the Atlantic driving the pattern. Strong jet stream probably as well. Rainfall coming out above average. Temperatures warmer than average. Next one to look at is going to be our very own, the UK Met-Os. Now this is a little bit bizarre what's going on here. This is sea level pressure for the autumn, September to November. The British Isles is just there, but notice all this green virtually stretched out from the United States, through the Atlantic, into British Isles, on into Europe. There's hardly any sort of ridge of high pressure anywhere, so quite what's going on with that. I think it's a bit odd, I think it's a bit bizarre. I think the UK Met may have lost the plot a little bit this month, but on the face of it, it's a very unsettled looking signal for the autumn, because low pressure, below average pressure really is very, very dominant, but it does look very strange to me. I can't really work out exactly what's happening. The temperature forecast is warmer than average again, average to warmer than average in most cream colours there, oranges to the east, so certainly no signal for below average temperatures. It's average above average temperatures. Such a consistent signal here for a warmer than average autumn. I'll talk a little bit about it at the end of the video. The precipitation forecast, well, hardly surprised with so much low pressure in the Atlantic and around Europe. The rainfall forecast is coming out wetter than average, but I think that is a very strange update from the UK Met. It looks a bit over the top. I'm not sure what's going on with the sea level pressure prediction, and everything else looks a bit suspect, but on the face of it, it's a wetter and warmer than average autumn coming up, and probably, if the sea level pressure is right, a significantly wet autumn is coming up. Finally, having a look at the Jamstech IOD. We're at the end now, so if you've been struggling to get through it, I've been going on for quite a long time, I know, you've been struggling to get through it. We're at the end now. Here's the Jamstech IOD. Warmer than average autumn being predicted. So every model that we've looked at throughout all of this, including Hu Vanderloo's analogues, every model has gone for a warmer than average autumn. Intensely and incredibly consistent signal here, and it still goes on with Jamstech. We're in most salmon pink colours, so yeah, warmer than average autumn on the cards. It's cooler for the United States. They're having a cold year, but for us, warmer than average. And look how warm it is across virtually the whole of Eurasia, Europe and Russia and Asia. Virtually all areas coming out warmer than average. That is quite incredible how that one is panning out. The rainfall signal, precipitation signal, shows that we're average to maybe wetter than average. Got the green colours again around the coast, probably being generated by the warm sea surface temperature anomalies. What happens is that it's not a particularly wet autumn, but when it rains, it really rains around the coast because we've got such warmth in the seas, so much energy is available. But actually, the overall signal is for near normal precipitation there, I think. So that's it. That's all of the models, and very interesting they've been too. They're all warmer than average, so that has to be the prediction for this month's update. Obviously, I mean, it's so consistent across every single model that I can't possibly go against it. But I'm going to talk a little bit about what could be going on here, because there's two possibilities. The first possibility is that the model is definitely seeing a warmer than average autumn, and that's how things are going to pan out. It's very straightforward. It's going to be warmer than average through September, October, November. There'll be no great deviation. The other possibility is that because we've had such a long run of warmer than average temperatures, started in December, or in some respects started July last year actually, but we had a couple of months in between July and December last year that were a bit cooler. So let's say this started in December, been an incredibly long run of warmer than average temperatures, and these seasonal models are not always that good at picking out the change. When you had a long run of one particular weather type, they don't always see it, if you see what I'm getting at. They don't always see the switch. The switch can be very sudden, very dramatic, and they don't always see that switch very well. So it's possible they're not seeing the change, and when the change comes, they'll revert to something quite different. It's going to be down to me next month to come up with what I think is happening. It'll be either one of those scenarios. I will have a very warm autumn, or I'll have to say there's going to be a switch at some point and go against what the models are showing, because I don't think somehow the models are going to flip for next month. So warmer than average autumn obviously is what they're going for this month. We'll see about next month in the final gas weather this update. And in terms of the precipitation forecast, I don't think they're as wet as last month. They're reverting to nearer normal precipitation for the autumn. So a couple of them are still very wet. Beijing, Climate Centre and CFSV2 I think are proper wet scenarios, but otherwise sort of average type rainfall with a very strong signal for warmer than average temperatures. That's this month's update. I'll do it all over again next month. It'll be the final and official autumn forecast next month as well, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. That's all for now. No, it's been a long video. Thanks for sticking with it. Thanks for watching, and that's all for now. Bye for now.